I hurt my husband in an argument and now he won't talk to me. How do I fix this? Trigger warnings: verbal abuse, parental abuse. My husband, 32M, and I, 31F, have been together for 7 years and married for 5. We have a 3.5M son and a 1F daughter. His parents passed away when he was 20. To describe it shortly, he despises his father to this day. His father ruined his promising athletic future. He was ranked in the top 10 nationally at his sport, and forced him to focus on school. My husband was accepted to multiple Ivy League schools and his father refused to pay tuition as well. His father was a control freak, physically abusive towards him, and refused to entertain any opposing opinions. My husband vowed to himself to never be like his father and to always encourage his future kids' interests. He has always been an amazing husband and father to me and our kids. He makes spending time with us a priority, keeps our relationship fun and exciting, and just always makes me feel beautiful and appreciated. We've been going through a bit of a rough patch for a few weeks and we were arguing about something that wasn't even worth arguing about in hindsight. He said that he was done arguing and walked away mid-conversation. I blurted out, "You're just like your father." As soon as I said that, I immediately tried apologizing, ran to him and tried to hug him. He refused my hug, looked at me, shook his head, and walked out the door. A whole day passed and I hadn't seen or heard from him. I called, texted, and left many voicemails apologizing and asking him to please come home. I reached out to his friends and they had not heard from him either. He walked in drunk at 4 a.m. the next night and collapsed on our couch. I heard him come in and ran downstairs to see him. He was slurring his words and was saying things like, "I'm not like him," and "Why would you say that?" I just held him in my arms all night long and apologized many times. It's been another 2 days and my husband refuses to talk or look at me. He's not even eating anything I make. I have tried talking to him and apologizing. He just looks at me and says, "It's just another thing I have to live with," and walks away from wherever I am. I have no idea how to fix this. I didn't mean to hurt him, but the fact he feels betrayed by the one person he should feel supported and uplifted by, me. Please advise as to what I can do or say to fix this. Update. I got some comments and some messages trashing my husband for walking away from the argument that started all of this and saying he is like his father. I'm not going to say what the argument was about here, but it was pointless and walking away from it was the mature thing to do. He is the best husband and father anyone could ask for. Even when he wasn't talking to me, he was still spending time with and taking care of the kids. Think whatever you want of me, I deserve it, but leave him out of it. My husband came home after work the next day and bought takeout for dinner. We had dinner as a family for the first time in a few days and put the kids to bed together. I asked if we could talk. I apologized and admitted that I was tired of all the arguments we were having lately, and in the heat of the moment, I wanted to hurt him and said what would hurt the most. He said that he knows he is nothing like his father and why I thought he was. I promised that I don't believe that at all and told him all the great things he does for me and our children. I told him that I would see a therapist to figure out what made me say what I did and to make sure it never happened again. The conversation lasted about an hour and a half and ended with him telling me that it would take some time, but we would be okay as long as I never compared him to his father again. We kissed and slept together for the first time since the incident. In the next few days, there was still a certain coldness about him. He was still happy to spend time with the kids but was still somewhat cold with me. I wrote him a letter telling him how much I loved and appreciated him and promised to never hurt him again, and slipped it into his lunch bag. He came home with flowers for me that day. Our normal vibe has somewhat returned and it looks like we will be good going forward.